Imagine sitting across from your partner at a dinner table. You look at them and you know, with absolute certainty, that you love them. You have sacrificed for them, you have worked hard for them, you have provided for them, and you have been entirely faithful to them. Yet, when you look into their eyes, you see a profound sense of emptiness. They look at you and say the most devastating words a partner can hear: "I just don't feel loved by you anymore." How is this possible? How can you pour everything you have into a relationship, only for the other person to feel completely empty? The tragic truth is that most of us are walking through our relationships completely blind to the emotional reality of the people we care about. We are loving them the way we want to be loved, completely unaware that they are speaking an entirely different emotional language. In his groundbreaking book The 5 Love Languages, Dr. Gary Chapman reveals a profound psychological framework that has saved countless marriages and transformed millions of relationships. After decades of counseling couples, Chapman discovered that the root cause of almost all relationship dissatisfaction is not a lack of love, but a lack of emotional fluency. We are trying to deposit love into our partner's emotional account using a currency they do not accept. Today, we are going to decode this framework. We will explore the 5 distinct languages of love, uncover the dangerous illusion of the in-love phase, and give you the exact blueprint to keep your partner's emotional love tank completely full. To understand the love languages, we must first understand the most critical concept in Chapman's framework: the emotional love tank. Every single human being has an invisible emotional reservoir inside of them. When your love tank is full, you feel secure, valued, and deeply connected. You are able to function at your highest potential, and you naturally radiate warmth and kindness towards your partner. But when your love tank is empty, you feel hollow, insecure, and unvalued. You become irritable, distant, and critical. Chapman argues that the most fundamental human need is not sex, nor is it financial security. It is the need to feel genuinely loved and cared for by our primary romantic partner. When the tank is empty, people will do almost anything to feel that sense of connection, even if it means engaging in destructive behaviors. The secret to a thriving relationship is incredibly simple, yet incredibly difficult to execute. You must learn to identify your partner's primary love language, and you must make a conscious, daily choice to speak it. But before we can learn the languages, we must confront the greatest obstacle to long-term love, the in-love illusion. When we first meet someone, we experience the euphoric in-love phase. Psychologists estimate that this obsessive, tingling, can't-eat can't-sleep romantic high lasts, on average, about 2 years. During this phase, we are under a biological illusion. We feel like we have conquered all our problems. We think, as long as we have each other, we will be happy forever. We assume that our partner naturally understands us, naturally loves us in the exact way we need, and that this effortless feeling will last a lifetime. But it doesn't. Eventually, the euphoria fades. We wake up from the illusion and notice that our partner actually has flaws. We notice that they don't naturally speak our emotional language. And this is where the tragedy begins. When the in-love feeling fades, we assume that the love is gone. We think, we must have fallen out of love. So, we break up, we divorce, and restart the cycle all over again with a new person, chasing that same 2-year high. Chapman teaches that true love does not require obsession, and it is not entirely effortless. True love is an act of will. It is a conscious choice. To transition from the temporary in-love illusion to a lifetime of true, deep love, you must abandon the expectation that your partner will naturally intuit your needs. You must learn to speak their specific love language. There are 5 primary love languages. Let us break down each one, understand the psychology behind it, and learn how to speak it fluently. The first language is words of affirmation. For people whose primary love language is words of affirmation, nothing matters more than verbal expressions of love, appreciation, and encouragement. The spoken word has immense psychological power. A genuine compliment, a simple "I love you," a text message saying "I'm thinking about you," or a verbal acknowledgement of their hard work can fill their emotional tank to the brim. Conversely, harsh words, criticism, and verbal abuse are absolutely devastating to this person. They do not just brush it off. An insulting word to them is like a physical blow. Chapman points out that forgiving someone does not necessarily mean forgetting what they said. If you have a harsh temper, and your partner's love language is words of affirmation, you must make a conscious effort to control your tongue. Apologize sincerely when you fail, and actively build a habit of speaking life into them. To speak this language effectively, you must be specific. "You look nice" is okay, but "I really love the way you handled that difficult situation with the kids today. You were so patient" is powerful. If verbal affirmation does not come naturally to you, Chapman suggests a practical trick: keep a notepad in your pocket. Every time you read an article about love, or hear a compliment from a friend, or notice something you appreciate about your partner, write it down. Once a week, sit down and translate those notes into verbal affirmations for your partner. The second language is quality time. Quality time is not simply sitting on the couch watching Netflix together while scrolling through your phones. That is just proximity. Quality time means giving someone your undivided, focused attention. It is about togetherness. For the person who speaks this language, eye contact and active listening are everything. When they are talking to you, they want you to put the phone face down. They want you to look them in the eyes. They want to know that for those 20 minutes, they are the most important person in the world to you. If you are distracted, they will feel it instantly, and their love tank will drain. Quality time also involves quality activities. It doesn't matter what you are doing, it matters that you are doing it together. It could be going for a walk, cooking a meal together, or running errands. The key is that it provides an opportunity for connection. If your partner's language is quality time, you must prioritize shared experiences. Cancel the extra meeting, put away the laptop, and be fully present. When they share a problem, do not immediately try to fix it. Just listen. Empathy and presence are the ultimate expressions of love for this person. The third language is receiving gifts. In our modern culture, this language is often misunderstood and unfairly judged as materialistic or shallow. But it is not about greed. It is about the visual symbol of love. For a person whose primary language is receiving gifts, a gift is a tangible representation that someone was thinking of them. It is a visual "I love you." It does not have to be expensive. A single wildflower picked from the side of the road, a favorite candy bar brought home from the grocery store, or a handwritten note left on the dashboard of their car can be profoundly moving. The cost is irrelevant, the thoughtfulness is everything. The gift says, "Even when we were apart, you were on my mind." There is also a powerful secondary gift for this language, the gift of presence. In times of crisis, physical presence is the most powerful gift you can give. If your partner is going through a tragedy, a health scare, or a period of deep grief, and their love language is receiving gifts, simply being there, holding their hand, and sitting with them in the hospital room is the ultimate gift of love. If you are physically absent during a crisis, it will be remembered for a lifetime. The fourth language is acts of service. For this person, actions speak infinitely louder than words. They feel loved when you do things to ease the burden of their life. Washing the dishes, vacuuming the floor, taking the car to get an oil change, cooking dinner, or picking up the kids from school, these are not just chores, they are profound expressions of love. If you are married to someone whose language is acts of service, and you let the house fall into disrepair, or you refuse to help them when they are overwhelmed, they will not just feel annoyed, they will feel deeply unloved. Every broken promise to help out is a nail in the coffin of their emotional tank. The challenge with this language is that it requires overcoming our own stereotypes and laziness. It requires us to reevaluate our roles. It means doing things that we might not naturally want to do, simply because it brings joy and relief to our partner. It means asking, "What can I do to make your day easier?" and then actually doing it without being asked, and without complaining while you do it. If you do an act of service with a bad attitude, it negates the love. It must be done freely and cheerfully. The fifth language is physical touch. We have known since childhood psychology that physical touch is foundational to human emotional development. Babies who are held and cuddled develop healthier emotional systems than those who are not. For the adult whose primary language is physical touch, their body is the conduit of love. This does not solely mean sexual intimacy, though that is a vital component for most romantic relationships. It means the everyday, non-sexual touches that communicate presence and care. A hand on the shoulder as you walk past them in the kitchen, a hug when you walk through the door, holding hands while driving, or simply sitting close to each other on the couch. When this person is going through a crisis, physical touch is their lifeline. Words of comfort might bounce right off them, but a tight, warm embrace communicates safety and love directly to their nervous system. If your partner's language is physical touch, you must be mindful of your physical presence. Crossing your arms, turning your back to them in bed, or pulling away when they reach for you sends a devastating message of rejection. So, how do you discover your primary love language, and how do you discover your partner's? Chapman suggests 3 practical ways to figure it out. First, ask yourself, what does my partner do, or fail to do, that hurts me the most? The thing that causes you the deepest pain is often the exact opposite of your primary love language. If you are devastated when they forget an anniversary, your language might be gifts. If you are crushed when they criticize you, your language is likely words of affirmation. Second, ask yourself, what have I most often requested of my partner? The thing you nag them about the most is usually the thing that would make you feel most loved if they just did it. If you constantly ask them to put their phone away and talk to you, your language is quality time. Third, how do you naturally express love to your partner? We often give love in the way we wish to receive it. If you are constantly buying them thoughtful little gifts, that is likely your own love language speaking. Once you have identified your own language, and your partner's, the real work begins. And this brings us to the most profound, challenging, and liberating truth in Gary Chapman's entire book, Love is a Choice. We cannot control our partner's behavior. We cannot force them to speak our love language. But we can make a radical, unilateral decision to speak theirs. When you wake up in the morning and your partner has been grumpy, distant, or critical, your natural instinct is to withdraw. Your emotional tank is low, and you want them to fill it before you give anything. But Chapman challenges you to flip the script. He says, choose to love your partner in their primary language, regardless of how you feel or how they are behaving. If their language is words of affirmation, give them a compliment. If it is acts of service, make their coffee. If it is physical touch, give them a hug. Why would you do this when you don't feel like it? Because love is not a feeling, it is an action. Feelings follow actions. By consciously choosing to fill their emotional tank, you are breaking the cycle of selfishness. You are stepping out of the childish in-love illusion and into the mature, deliberate reality of true love. And miraculously, when you consistently fill your partner's tank in their native language, they will eventually soften. They will feel safe, they will feel valued, and they will naturally begin to reciprocate. As we conclude this deep exploration of the 5 love languages, remember that a great relationship is not the result of finding the perfect person. It is the result of 2 imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other, and who are willing to learn the strange, foreign language of their partner's heart. You have the power to transform your relationship today. You do not need to go to expensive therapy, and you do not need to wait for your partner to change first. You just need to identify their love language, and start speaking it fluently, consistently, and intentionally. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of human connection. If this framework resonates with you, if it gives you a new lens to view your relationships, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, love is a choice you make every single day. Go forth, fill the emotional tanks of the people you care about, and build a life of deep, lasting, and unconditional love. If you enjoyed this book, please let me know in the comments. I'd also love to hear what book you'd like me to summarize next or what type of books you're interested in. Your suggestions help shape this channel, and I'll do my best to bring you the content you want. Thank you for subscribing to Raw Books. Your support means a lot.